You see, Erie, Colorado is already a split town. East County Line Road runs through it, putting parts of Erie in Boulder County and then parts of Erie in Weld County. Perfect example of the power of that water. This here's a fence post. I pick it up. Look how tall that is. I'm about 5'11" or so. It's obviously taller than me. Just shows you the strength of the water when it comes rushing through here. Mark, you wouldn't believe it unless you could see it, and we're gonna show it to you. This is the scene of the accident, sort of. Right down here, though, is a big wooden board. They're gonna take this, prop it up, and fill up this gaping hole. But like we said, let's go on in here. We've seen cars turned over, cars in ditches spinning out. I've even seen a couple tow trucks pulling 18-wheelers. But one guy we met, he was driving through from out of state. He had an especially frustrating experience. Andrew was given 9 shots at the hospital. Some of them were as a precaution for rabies. Most of his injuries, though, were cuts and scrapes like you saw to his arms and to his neck and face area. We had learned that the suspect himself may be watching news reports. So, of course, officials were very careful what they gave to us, and we were very careful about what we reported so we wouldn't tip off any information to the suspect involved.
I was only 12 years old when I met you.
After 16 years, this woman who calls herself Jamie called the woman she says sexually abused her.
You're an assistant principal, huh? Do you realize that you brainwashed me and you manipulated me? And that what you did was wrong?
Yes. And I regret it.
Jamie recorded the conversation with her former teacher and put it on the internet.
Why are you excluded from the law? I mean, why did you do that?
9 News psychologist Dr. Max Wachtel watched the video, the apparent confession, and explanation.
I just wanted to help you.
How is having a sexual relationship with a 12-year-old student helping?
You hear that a lot from perpetrators of sex assault who show no remorse and just don't get it.
That wasn't anything that I intended. I don't even know what happened.
Under California law, Jamie's abuse claims won't be fully investigated. The statute of limitations on the case ran out, but her course of action could signify a new form of coping.
Victims need some sort of outlet for justice. I wouldn't be surprised if this type of thing starts to happen more often.
But what she can do is what she did, which is public shaming.
The educator resigned from her current job as assistant principal once the video went viral. 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson tells us there would have likely been criminal charges.
It's fully admissible in any criminal trial had not the statute of limitations passed.
Is that how you help them?
But Jamie technically did something illegal here. Recording the conversation is against California law since both parties weren't aware of it.
You should be so ashamed and so disgusted with yourself.
By law, Jamie could be charged for what she did.
You're disgusting. Bye.
Now, if they pursue charges, California officials will likely be very lenient with Jamie. Here in Colorado, though, there's no statute of limitations for sexual assault against a child, and we live in a one-party consent state, meaning Jamie legally could have recorded the call, and her childhood teacher could be charged.
Quiet night in, yes. Because when it all comes down to it, that's where you want to be, with your family.
Jolene Size and her family wanted nothing but a peaceful end of the weekend.
Gray BMW pulled over on the side of the road by the outlet malls.
It didn't happen. An emergency at 80 miles an hour interrupted.
For having trouble communicating, there's a lot of yelling. Sounds like they're panicking.
Lady, would you get me some water, please?
Jolene had been out running errands with her 8-year-old daughter, Rhett. She said she felt it coming and knew she had just seconds to react.
I was in the fast lane and I kind of looked and I'm like, please God, and I just went.
She had to cross 3 lanes of traffic to pull over as a migraine set in. For her, that meant much more than a headache.
This one was paralysis, but I also had tremors, more like a seizure.
She says her arms and limbs were shaking. The moments were agony.
I was back here.
As she tried to motion her daughter to call for help.
Communication was horrible.
And she was right here, and she handed me the phone.
And Rhett saw the whole thing. She tried to hold my hand.
And I went like, Mom, Mom.
My whole body was just convulsing, and I couldn't speak.
Really started shaking because I was really scared.
She had panic in her voice, but she was able to do it.
Rhett stayed on the phone until an ambulance found them. It was part of a plan Jolene rehearsed with her daughter
after she had a similar bout just a week ago.
If she hadn't been there or did not know how to call 911, how long would I have sat in that car before somebody found me?
But Rhett was there to make sure that in her most vulnerable state, her mother would be taken care of.
Mommy.
And a night in would never be more welcome.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Eric Egan, 9 News.